Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your host of Zenrama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. And it is Monday, which is Cartoon Series Monday. We are going to be talking about the next 4 episodes of Speed Racer, numbers 27 through 30. But before we get too much further into it, please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about these episodes. This show is just ridiculously violent. These episodes. Speed, our hero, mows people down right and left. And a lot of other people get mowed down right and left. But not Spritle or Chim Chim. Anyway, if you could, just watch a little longer. I know these run a little long, but we're getting into the single episodes instead of the double two-parters. All right, are you ready? Grab that checkered flag, let it fly, and let's roll. We'll get right into it with the Race Against Time Part 1. This is episode 27, first broadcast October 1st, 1967, so you can extrapolate the next 4. Went for the next 4 weeks. It's also, the original title was Cleopatra's Curse, Noroi no Choreopatra. Jeez, Zenpen, episode 1. So it starts out with Speed zooming down there in the desert, obviously in Egypt, since Cleopatra and all. He nearly runs over Digger O'Bone, Dr. Digger O'Bone, who gets wiped out by this plane and with his dying breath says, "Speed, take care of my daughter Calcia." What a name, Calcia. And unfortunately, there's the guy. He dies. And there he is. He dies. And that's Calcia here with his associate, Splint Femur. Oh, Peter Fernandez. So that's the crux of the episode here. There's 2 parts. There's a secret clue, STFT, which Trixie finds out what it means. And there's some bad guys listening. Also, Speed's like, well, I'm going to go find out. I don't know if he's supposed to be in a race or anything. He's in. She's got her gloves on. He's got his gloves on. They wear gloves a lot for some reason. But look who else is eavesdropping. So we know where they're going to be. The rest of the cast, I don't think anybody else shows up. Just these 4, the Ripmains, and then the rest of them. So they're driving by night. And they've got a guy who's shooting at them. Now, the subtitles were not on this episode. I looked, it was on, and they were not. So I don't know what was going on with that, but what do you do, right? So they're going to shoot Speed and kill Trixie, and of course, also the 2 idiots in the trunk. But he misses, so he radios back and says, "I missed." So something's afoot. There's the lost city of Cleopatra. And they just walk in blithely. They don't have any weapons. There's no food in the car, nothing. They just go out in the middle of the night. Apparently, the Mach 5 has a lot of gas. There's the locket that Dr. O'Bone, that it gave to her. It's Calcia. Gave to Speed. It's Calcia's. So they find a deadly cobra. And this is not just a king cobra. This is a king kaiju cobra, as we'll find out. Another fight breaks out, and he's going to try to spear Speed with a drill bit. It causes an avalanche. Speed's trapped, and then the Cobra shows back up. And Speed rightly tells Trixie that if we don't bother it, it's not going to bother us. It doesn't want to, waste its venom on us. King Cobras are slow snakes, just in general, which is why Mongoose can beat them in fights, because they're a lot faster. There's a reason for that, but this isn't Scientific Corner. So, but there it is. Look at the size of that thing, and it's muscular, and it grows within seconds. Trixie, marksman that she is, blasts it and kills it, which Cobra venom is deadly, and they probably don't have any anti-serum in the trunk because they wouldn't have room for the 2 idiots in the back. Semi-Egyptian hieroglyphics. And there we meet Cleopatra, who is Calcia, because she's had a coconut dropped on her head. Well, probably a rock. He shows her the picture, and there he is. Splint Femur, who's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. He's got him locked up, and now Speed's got to have trial by combat to see if they can leave. He fights him to the death, or to the pain, maybe. There's lions around. This guy's sword, they cheat. This guy's sword can grow. And there's cheering. He gets knocked down, but he jumps up, judo chop, and he wins. And so now he's given another test. He has to go get the gold statue of Isis in the desert. If he doesn't, Trixie's going to be burned at the stake. Trixie doesn't deserve that. Splint tries to keep, has to humor her because she thinks she's Cleopatra, and the natives think she's the reincarnation, but his men are out shooting the Mach 5 with a machine gun. Well, it looks like and fortunately it's bulletproof. But what's this? It's crashed and Speed is buried? Nope, he just tricked him. I saw that. I mean, you can see that. Speed's gotten away again. I mean, these walkie-talkies are powerful. And he's got gas. There's the pyramid. Trixie's going to be burned because they've only got an hour left. There's the statue of Isis. That is not a statue of Isis. So go right into the race against time, part 2. Got a bit of a recap, which I just left out. Well, there it is, Dr. Bone. He's used the robot spy. Well, it's not a robot spy, but you know what I mean. As a grappling hook, and he saves it. He throws it around there, and it destroys the plane. They go down and die. So there's a 4 body count right now. And that's the statue. If the sun reaches the statue's eye, they're going to burn Trixie at the stake. But he doesn't know how to get there in time. Fortunately, he sends it via the robot plane, the little robot. Which, how on earth did that thing survive a plane crash? Does he have more than one in the Mach 5? It wouldn't surprise me. It's got nearly as many gadgets as the Batmobile. There you go. Lower her into the fire. But she says you must not. And you can see the subtitles are back because there it is. But Speed didn't deliver it, so he still wants to kill her. But there he is, running up the stairs while they throw spears at him. So now they're going to be their slaves. And he's got to humor her. But they escape right out of prison. No problem. These two find the treasure, but they want to eat. Spritle drinks a whole bottle of wine or rum or something and gets schnockered, but it doesn't last. He must have a really high metabolism. Got the key. And Trixie goes to Calcia, a.k.a. Cleopatra, a.k.a. Calcia. Tries it. There's Speed's in the tunnel. And they find some of the treasure they've been building up. Let's hide. More fighting. And Speed's nothing, or Sprite's nothing if not observant. And Femur cackles a lot. You ought to punish them. Have a good swim. So they've tied Speed up, put a brick on the gas pedal, and down he goes. And, he can't control it. So they're going to drown him in the Nile. But fortunately, Speed gets away, or he controls it long enough to push the button, so he's got the 15 or 30 minutes of air, depending on the episode. They're stealing more treasure. And fortunately, Chim Chim's still free, grabs the gun. I mean, these people don't look for people. Nobody knows, except for the racers, that Spritle and Chim Chim stow away constantly. But he's got an itchy trigger finger. Now they're going to get rid of him. But Speed has shown up with the police. Dun, dun, dun. But unfortunately, somehow, some way, Femur has made a giant robot. It looks like a golem, which is what I was calling it in the first place. But there it is. It's cool looking. I mean, this cartoon. I mean, this is what we loved about these Japanese cartoons, especially the color ones. But it just didn't look like the American ones. I mean, they all had a different look, and that was what was cool about it. Speed climbs up. He blasts the controls, all gasp. So, Femur is just set on the treasure, tries to take off, but look who's there. Calcia got bopped in the head again, and she's got her memory back, not at least 2 concussions. But they're going to shoot each other. But she just blasted out. These women know how to shoot. But Speed's there. They jump out in the nick of time. So Femur's dead because he blew up with the plane. That's at least 5 people that are dead. And he gives it that. And now, stay tuned for the next exciting adventure of Speed Racer. But we are going to pause for station identification here. You are watching Xenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters on KXNO, part of the Xenorama Broadcasting Network. We now return you to our regularly scheduled program. The next episode here is the Snake Track, which is called the Arm of Gold, Kogane no Ude, in Japanese, but it's the Snake Track, which of course is what they're going to be racing on. So this does have a race in it. These thugs are waiting for a man on flight number 603 and a half. There he is, Rock Force. Do you smell what he's cooking? But he's tough. He just beats the crap out of him, and he gets away. So there we see the Snake Track, the supercar race. It's got all these twists and turns in it, and Speed has to practice. So off he goes, and he can't quite do it. So he's moody, not paying attention to Trixie, and they see Rock Force being chased by the thugs. And off they go, and he's really a good driver. He drove on 2 wheels. You can see Speed is not always the upstanding individual. I mean, he wants to win. I mean, he's a competitor, so I get that. But he's like, and it's very cool to watch the car zoom around on 2 wheels. So he's trying to try it. Sparky's helping him out. Speed has a standard, and Rock Force has an automatic, and there's a reason for that. But he crashes, breaks up, and then wants Sparky to help him. But there's the city at night. I don't remember what city they're supposed to be in. But those men from the rival car factory have destroyed Rock Force's car. He's got to lay the smack down on their candy asses, I'll tell you what. He goes to Pop's Racer, so they must be wherever they live. I don't think it's ever really said. And he wants him to fix up his car, and Pop says, I can't. Speed and Rock have a fight, and then the light comes on. Our 2 dipsticks are like, what are you fighting about? And, oh, they know each other. So then you find out that Rock can't use his right arm at all, hand or arm. And they're talking about the guy who did it. Tried to bribe him, and he wouldn't throw the race, but he injured his right arm, so now he can only drive with an automatic car. Jack Rival, head of the Rival Motor Company. I mean, once again, that is Peter Fernandez all over. There he is. I mean, it looks like a sleaze, doesn't he? So he thinks he'll never be able to use it, and they want Pop to build him a racer. And Speed says, okay, come with me. And he gives him a little tough love and tells him, yeah, and lets him drive pilot the Mach 5. So he does that. They're zooming. And guess who's in the trunk? Actually, they get in the back with the bad guys, and they defeat them. It's a little far-fetched, but, I mean, Sprite's half as tough as Speed. They're probably not that far-fetched. And once again, a chimpanzee is ridiculously strong. So he says he can't race because he must be in tip-top shape. But there he is. He's racing, and that's his new car. They're cheering Speed on. Look at that. That's what he does. The flag drops, and they're neck and neck. Rock Force wins. This is the first race Speed has lost. And fair and square. So, he's a good sport, at least. But the thugs try to say, you lost, but you can't compete because you're handicapped. Then they realize, I used my right arm to punch him with. And now they're all happy. And then they see how, and they come with that, and they're like, friends, which I really enjoy. And be sure to see the next exciting episode of
Alloy wheels, chrome details, custom paint, premium stereo. The Mystery Machine has room for 5. And the power and handling you expect from a quality driving machine. What the? Oh! Speed Racer on Cartoon Network.
Dogs should not drive.
Our final episode today is Man on the Lam, which you can guess is about a prison break. It's called The Showdown by the Dam. That's the transliteration of Damu Saido Saido no Taiketsu, more or less. And there he is, old Lawson Lamster. He's broken out of prison because he's after money. And he runs to this house where this little girl, Delicia, lives. Delicia, who's blind. And she talks to him, and obviously there's something here. He ran there, so she helps him up, and he's very grateful. You think, he doesn't turn her in, but Spritle is her best friend, and there's Chim Chim and Speed show up because they were worried about her in the storm. He comes out and pulls a gun on Speed and says, "You got to take me to someplace." And Spritle has to go with them, but they leave Chim Chim there. Speed gets the map up and then drops it on the side of the road there as they leave. And she's just this young, naive little thing. So you can guess what this is all about. It's super easy. I mean, I think as a kid, if I'd seen this, I don't remember all the episodes I saw except one, which is further down the road, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, what kind of rat you really are. So Dave, Pops, and Mom and Trixie show up, and so they go to Inspector Detector. So they're looking for him, and here, this is the real bad guy, Stencher. Cracker Knuckles Finger. Listen to me, say. Yeah. So there's the police. They're chasing him, and the bad guys get out and corner him, and then they find out they want money. So they're tied up together. Now he's been bleeding, so nobody's dead yet, are they? But Spritle's there. He gets out. He tries to untie Speed, but they're really tied well. Stencher is making Lawson Lamster look tell him what the treasure is. He gets in the Mach 5 and races off. Just some really gorgeous scenery here. $100,000. It looks like Spritle's about to get shot, but he doesn't. So a gun battle breaks up. So we've turned into a Western now. There's no real race here at all either. They're just, and really, there's barely a race in the last one. So 3 out of 4 episodes don't even have a race in it. So Spritle is a crack shot, and you think it's a gunshot. So there they are shooting back and forth. Pow, 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 pew, pew. Stencher decides to set the town on fire because it's an old ghost town. And they'll be coming out of those burning buildings, and they have a fight. They get away. There's the money, and Stencher's, "It's all mine," but it burns up. So there it goes. Speed saves him, and but then we find out that Delicia is his daughter. He's responsible. He dies and says, "Give her my eyes. Donate my eyes so she can see again." And then it works. She burns Spritle. She thinks Chim Chim's cute, but they lie to her and tell her that her dad had to go away because she thinks the world of him. But, I guess that's okay at this age, but eventually she's going to want to know who he was. And Spritle says, "We'll take you on long walks in the hikes in the mountains," and there's Chim Chim, who's packed up and ready to go. All laugh. Ha, ha, ha.
Crab people, taste like crab, talk like people, crab people.
As you might have guessed, tomorrow's movie is going to be Attack of the Crab Monsters. Not the crab people, but the crab monsters. Now, I do think that Matt and Trey are nerdy enough to have seen this movie and referenced it, but that's just a feeling of mine. Be that as it may, I am X7, and I'll be, until our next assignment, I am signing off and phasing out. And remember, the sun never sets on those who ride into it.
On an isolated Pacific island, the Navy lands a party of daring scientists to solve the mysterious disappearance of an entire atomic research team. Strange horror strikes first at the plane that brought them. And then, earth-shattering tremors begin tearing the island to shreds.
Okay, Professor. How are the crabs blowing up the island?
I am not sure. But imagine they are able to send out arcs of heat. They are packed with it.
They can melt and fuse parts of the caverns, explode the materials contained, and bring about the slides.
There used to be ridges there for maybe 2 miles.
Now there is less than half a city block. Soon we will have nowhere to run.
Fathoms deep among the terrors of the mighty Pacific, daring skin divers brave undersea perils that stagger the imagination. Here are monsters with razor-sharp claws that hand grenades and dynamite cannot stop. Nor searing fire and flame, nor tons of crushing rocks, as mankind faces its last desperate chance.